Supergirl opened this weekend, and I do hope all of you are going to see it. If nothing else, we have to take a stand against this endless legion of incels who hate on anything that's not male-centered, as if it's going to improve their miserable little lives. My only rationale that I can think of is because they know they can't give women pleasure. They're trying to deny them anything else. Bruh, if it's that small, you need to be busy working on your personality. Now, that being said, I'm going to give detailed reasons as to why I was ultimately disappointed with the film, and became even more so when I thought about it more, because it made me think about the original work more and what they just kind of left on the table. And make no mistake, I've said it before, film, print, different mediums, things are going to be changed. Shakespeare gets changed, so I'm not really going to be too particular that Adventure Comics 375 was not changed, as long as you maintain the spirit. Captain America doesn't need to have flag boots if you maintain the spirit of Captain America, and that's what they did. And unfortunately, they lost the spirit of Supergirl and the incredible work Supergirl One of Tomorrow when they made this. Oh, obviously, spoilers for the film, spoilers for the original work, and it's long, and I'm going to ramble. Now, my geek partner in crime hit the nail on the head when she said it had a distinct lack of super. And that crystallized all my initial misgivings about it, aside from story beats and plot points and Lobo. It lacks super. Now, oftentimes, a Superman movie is criticized for not soaring. It didn't soar. This was even levied against the Superman the movie, because he was ultimately fighting a real estate scam. It didn't soar, but that fits here. She wasn't allowed to be this great first tier superhero, super with capital letters, the way Superman is, and that was in the original story, but it's not here. I get what they were going for. They wanted to make her more human, more relatable, more grounded. No one was paying to see relatable, human, grounded girl. They were paying to see Supergirl. And not to beat people over the head with Superman, but let's face it, we have to. She's based on him. She's related to him. He's in the movie. He was allowed to be human and relatable in his film, but still be a top tier sun god, where she was not in this. And she was very much that in the original work. NYC, baby. Now, the stories are both essentially the same. A young girl loses her family to some pirates and wants revenge. In the original source material, she only loses her father, but she loves her father, and her brothers are too afraid, so she goes off on her own. Looking for him, she encounters Supergirl, who's partying under a red sun for her birthday with Krypto by her side. She asks Supergirl for help. Supergirl's like, "Nah, I'm not doing that. In fact, I'm about to go home." But when they inadvertently run into the bad guy, both she and Krypto are wounded because, again, they're under red sun. They're vulnerable. And here's where it goes wrong. In the original source material, she's still Supergirl. Arrows in her chest, she still kicks their asses. And the bad guy, Krim, he's terrified. He runs off in fear and gets into her ship and takes off. The only reason she doesn't get him then is because she stops to tend to Krypto. Again, I get what they were going for. Build up to it. It'd be more worthwhile. No, it wasn't. You're wrong. Have her be great now. Which one would you rather see? Also, in the original story, Krim is just some normal looking guy. Here, they make him look like an extra in a Mad Max movie, and that aesthetic is so played out, they just need to get over it. Seriously, it is tired. Also, they try to give him a personality and super strength, so, he'll be more formidable, but it just doesn't work. The craven bad guy in the original story, you hate him truly and want him to go, because he's just some person who thinks he has the right to kill anyone he wants to when he wants to. And he just, like, even in the face of death, he sneers at anyone who tells him that he's wrong. Now, the chase after criminals, where I feel they make their fatal deviation from the source material. In the original source material, he hooks up with the brigands when he's on the run. In the movie, he's actually running them. But as they're in the source material, they're chasing the brigands through the universe. They just leave a trail of death and destruction behind them. And I'm not talking just simple robbing and killing. I'm talking they commit horrible, sadistic acts for no reason whatsoever. Sometimes they just chop limbs off beings and leave them and keep going. There's even ethnic cleansing. So you have Supergirl, who has lost everything, coming in contact with people who have lost everything. And she helps them. How does she do it? By being super. Even though this is having a dark effect on her, she still is Supergirl, and she does super things to help them. There is no journey like this in the film. In the film, they chase out the Krem, they find him on the first stop, and they spend the rest of the movie just kind of fighting him. There's no journey. And guess what the major problem is? Having Supergirl just constantly fighting this guy. She's Supergirl. How are they getting away? In the original work, when they first encounter him, he is like uh, a magic tool that he throws at them, and it takes Supergirl away for a while. But when she comes back, she just grabs him and captures him, and that's it. Here they have to come up with reasons why they are getting away from an invulnerable, super strong, super fast creature who shoots lasers from her eyes. How? Now you can say this is always a problem with Superman because he's got so many top tier powers. Well, there are solutions to this. They don't come up with any of them. Also, the magic trap gives Ruthie her chance to shine, and she has to basically kill a dinosaur with a sword to save Supergirl because they're under a kryptonite sun. It was built for Superman, again, in the Silver Age story. In the film, where they wind up on a planet with a kryptonite sun in a way so stupid that they got out of the first Mission Impossible movie, uh, all Ruthie does is drag her to a cave to be safe, and when she goes for water, she gets captured and winds up in a cell next to Lobo. Lobo, yeah, let's talk about it. Now, it's been revealed that Lobo was actually planned for the original story, but they took him out, and it makes sense because even though it's told very fancifully, it's closer to like Lord of the Rings than it is standard superhero stuff. It's a very dark and dramatic story, and he's a comedic character. He didn't fit its tone, but I understand them putting him in the film because you would need that comic relief for a mainstream audience in the face of this dark and dramatic journey. Except they got rid of the dark and dramatic journey. So what is he here for? You don't need him anymore, and he's barely there. He comes in and out of the film, and if you took him out, it wouldn't change an iota, and that tells you all you need to know. Now, what they should have done and what I expected them to do was that the fact that it's revealed he's after a member of Clem's crew, that they would be going together to find them, and you would have the two of them battling for Ruthie's soul. Obviously, Lobo was for the vengeance. Supergirl doesn't want that, and also he'd be, a kind of a base series of comic foil against Supergirl. And also, you'd have a fight. You've got these two near indestructible survivors of dead races. How are they not going to fight? They knew enough to have Wolverine and Deadpool fight, even though it was dull, stupid, boring, and imbecilic. They knew enough to give it to you. It should have been here. All these uses for this character are obvious, and they left them all on the table. Also, how is Lobo just in a cell? Lobo goes toe to toe with Superman, so how could they even capture him? And also, and also in the scene, they make a point of having Lobo talk about his famous code that he always keeps his word. Now, when Ruthie gets out of the cell, it's revealed that it was a plan that Lobo came up with, and I thought it was going to reveal that she only did so after he gave his word that he would kill Clem, which of course Supergirl would not do. It's obvious, right? Right? Nope. Finally, at the end, we do get Supergirl being Supergirl, cutting loose and ripping through them, and they can't stop her. It's fun, but not as much fun as the original work, which had a giant pirate ship in space. How? Oh, okay, okay. I guess I understand it wasn't the budget, and I guess I do understand why they couldn't include Comet the Superhorse, who shows up in the original work, because it's kind of hard to explain a centaur who became a horse entirely when he was trying to become a man, thanks to the witch Circe. And to make it up to him, she gave him superpowers and made him immortal. Kind of hard to just shoehorn that in. The Silver Age is unmatched for crazy. Oh, and I mentioned that he actually went on a date with Supergirl. Silver Age, baby. Now, of course, we come to the scene where Ruthie has a chance to kill Clem and has to be talked out of it by Supergirl. It's a catharsis for both of them. Supergirl using the words that her own father gave to her about living for those who have passed. And when Ruthie walks away, she kills Clem herself. But we'll come back to that. First, we're going to talk about what they threw away. In the source material, while Supergirl is off fighting the giant pirate ship in space, she's with Clem, who they captured immediately because she's Supergirl and Clem is no threat to her. She lets him go for a fair fight, and she kicks his ass and cuts off his fingers, and she's trying to kill him, but she can't because of two reasons. One, she's remembering her father. Her father was her entire world, but as she's remembering, she was her father's entire world. And the second point was, of course, the journey she's been on with Supergirl. Now, I've complained mightily about Gunn's sad soul takeaway from this story was that Supergirl's effed up. She's the most effed up Supergirl ever. Now, Kara's story has always basically been the same. She initially survives the destruction of Krypton with her family because Argo City gets blown off in one piece, and Jor-El's brother, puts a dome over it, but it's short-lived because it's made out of kryptonite and it's killing them. They put her off for a while, but it's coming back. So they just ship her off to Earth to be with Kal-El. They survive later. It's revealed through a very Silver Age man I won't get into now. But but in this story and in the original source material and currently in continuity, it's an ugly death. They die of radiation poisoning. Her mother dies first. Her father lives long enough to send her away, but they all die. So she's lived through seeing the death of Krypton and the death of Arco City and her mom. So she's obviously going to be traumatized. And they took this into account when they brought the character back in the early aughts. That makes perfect sense. She'd have some sort of PSD, if not the way a bunch of male writers and artists dealt with it. Think low-rise jeans, invisible thongs, and partying, and it's awful. It was awful. This is why you need more women in comics. Now, my point being, remember I said I was going to ramble and this would be long. In the film, her catharsis is basically just killing this guy, while Lobo watches going, yeah, yeah. Seriously, why is he here? Now, it is oddly connected to the comic because in the comic, Ruthie has written a book about this story, and she says that Supergirl killed Clem, so the brigands go after Supergirl instead of her surviving family. And of course, we know how that ended for them. But for Supergirl, is that her catharsis? Really, killing the bad guy? I mean, it is for the audience who is used to seeing heroes kill bad guys. For me, my catharsis was when she beats the living crap out of him at super speed using super strength. That was all I needed. And if Lobo was here for any reason, this was it, right? Right? Supergirl, keeps her morality. Ruthie keeps her morality, and we still get to watch the bad guy die because Lobo's like, "Hey, I keep my word," and snaps his neck. It's the Hitchcock thing. You see the gun in the first act, you got to use the gun, and the third act, Lobo and his word are the gun. The superior choice of the book is that Supergirl's catharsis is Ruthie. Ruthie has been changed by her journey because the reason she wanted to kill Clem was that she felt after her father died, there was no sense in the universe. So I might as well kill him. That's all she had to cling on to. But watching Supergirl do incredible things, saving people, going against all odds, the dark and dramatic journey that was lost, she understands that there can be hope. And I hate to use that because the S does not mean hope. And she tells her, when people hear the story of the golden haired girl who did all these amazing things, girls in the universe who lose everything and feel weak and have no hope, know that there is because of you. That's the catharsis. And it's perfect. Supergirl unknowingly gave it to her. She said she was trying to save Ruthie from a life of vengeance, but as the journey went on, dark and dry, it brought her down. It kind of crushed her spirit, but her spirit is brought back by the girl whose spirit she was trying to save. It's perfect. And they left it on the table. And speaking of Ruthie mentioning her being a hope to girls, there's a plot point added to this: how Clem and his men are trafficking girls to breed with to keep their race going, their brigands going. This feels so condescending and patronizing, like someone's, hey, add some girl power thing to it. Add something specifically about the girls, because for the girl movie, do that. Imagine if for Captain America: Brave New World, they said, hey, make the leader kind of a racist. Give him a black thing, give him a black thing. Ruthie's speech is so much better than that stupid, stupid plot point. Now, I guess the book's real ending was out of the question. I mentioned that's not how it happened. It takes place 300 years later, where Supergirl shows up. She's barely aged at all with crypto by her. Ruthie's an old woman. Her race obviously lives very long. She shows up and says, "You want to do it?" And they go off to a field and they release Clem from the Phantasm where he's been for 300 years. He's a changed man. He's old. He's changed. He apologizes. He falls at their feet. I'm sorry. I did wrong. You've shown me the way. And Ruthie just takes her cane and smacks him across the head. Now, whether or not she just knocks him out or kills him is up to your interpretation, because that's it. Those are literally the last 3 panels in the book. She hits him with the cane. She goes home. Supergirl and Krypto go off, and he's just laying there on the ground, dead or unconscious. It's up to you. You know what? I changed my mind. They could have had comedy in this film. They really could have. And the reason they don't is the problem with the whole movie overall. All of it comes down to one thing: reticence. Reticence over embracing this character for a wide audience, fearing it would alienate him, as if we are not in our third decade of crazy superhero stuff being totally mainstream to the point where people make jokes about infinity rings and everyone gets the joke. Do you have any idea how it blows my geek mind to have normal people know what an infinity ring is? In a world where a talking raccoon with a gun in a spaceship is totally well known and normal, a super horse is not weird. They were just scared. They were scared to do that. They were scared to make her super. They were afraid of everything, and they didn't need to be. People have been watching these movies now. Again, we're in our third decade of it. You're going to have to give them something new. You can't just tell the same story. Embrace it. Embrace it. And if there was any time for James Gunn to come in and make his presence known, it was this, because his movies embrace the weird. That last Guardians of the Galaxy got super weird in the things that it embraced. I don't know why they were afraid of it here. Now I'm probably going to see it again because we were in the front row, and even though that's good at Alamo, I was still kind of off to the side, and the fight scenes look kind of wonky. I don't know if that was my angle or anything in the scenes themselves. I hope it's not the scenes themselves because that would mean the best Supergirl action sequence still is in the Flash movie. That's what we should have seen from her here. Weird, isn't it? The best Supergirl action scene is in a bad movie. The best Batman scene is in Batman v Superman, something, something, Justice, bad movie. Best Superman action scene is in still, I'm sorry, the best scene is still him catching that plane in Superman Returns, which is a very mediocre movie. This is a bad, bad trend. But yeah, I'll probably see it again and hopefully it will come off better. But yeah, that doesn't change anything. By abandoning the source material, the spirit of the source material so thoroughly, they have made a mediocre film. Uh, Geek Buddy was right. It's a more of a C film, and I'm gonna give it a C plus because there are moments where it does kind of pick up when she fights the tech pirates and gets blown out of the ship, and she's like drifting through. She's like drifting through space, slowly dying, but the yellow sun is coming up over the horizon, and then she pops up in a gory Supergirl. Yes, more of that. It should have been up there and stayed there for the rest of the film. But just remember in the book, when she's on that bus, she doesn't fight tech pirates. She fights a space dragon.